aller viktigste med drifting, det dekka. Det eneste vi har som binder bilen til asfalten. Og akkurat som i all annen racing, så dekka det som avgjør en seier eller en fiasko. Så da vi gikk til Kenda i år, så var det etter flere år med undersøkelser, med tester, med en vurdering av ikke bare hvor Kenda var da, hvor de på vei. Det har spilt seg ut ganske bra, kan du si, hittil i sesongen.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
King of legacy, too ruthless, too transcend.
Diving to me is like a sense of freedom. Nobody forces me, nobody pushing me. I choose to do it.
My grandfather would refer to it as like the last place that God made, as far west as you can go in the country. The last sunset in Europe in the millennium was over Jersey Island, you know. What better view can you ask for?
To IDS Pro Round 2 here at Watergrass Hill 2026.
James Ian here. We're after bringing the Falcon Tyres 4-rotor RX-7 for the second round of the Irish Drift Series, and it's really cool to be at home. Like, this track, Watergrass Hill, is only like 25 minutes from where I live, and it's really cool to be in Ireland to support, you know, the up-and-coming drivers, the amazing talent we have here still coming up in Ireland. It's unreal. It's great to witness, great to support, and we'll be putting on a show and having some fun with the RX-7 very soon.
The Boyle in E36 and Stephen in second position after a monumental pair of battles. Originally all the way from Poland, but a little bit closer to home, it is Jakob Krzysztof in second position. He has won IDS Round 2 2026. Give it up!
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and you are very welcome to round 3 of the Irish Drift Series here in beautiful Bishopscourt in the northeast coast of Ireland. My name is Mike Fitz, and I am joined here today by the ever-gorgeous Adam Driver. How are you, Adam?
I'm very good, Mike. Very excited for today after seeing a Pro 2 action yesterday. Today is going to be a level up with the grip. We've seen him trial practice, and I'm really excited to see when we get into battle action later on as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be a crazy one for sure, you know, based on what we saw yesterday, which was a top-level competition just for the semi-pro action, the Pro 2 action here in Ireland. So today, guys, we have Ireland's top drivers on the grid ready to rock for you, and it is going to be an absolutely action-packed day. We blasted through competition yesterday, through top 32, super exciting, into the top 16, and really got a lot of action in quite a short space of time. So I think that's the way that we're going to run it again today. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be absolutely crazy. This is, of course, the series which has bred the likes of James Dean, the Shanahans, etc., Dwayne McKeever. You can keep going, you know. And one of our own European exports, Dylan Garvey, is on the grid today, and he's one of the championship hopefuls, and he is facing off, of course, against the all-conquering Jakob Krzysztof. But we will get to that in a second, because there's quite a lot to go through here as well, guys. Again, Adam and myself will be here calling the action. We'll do our best to decipher exactly what's going on track, and, you know, bringing you, you know, a little bit behind the scenes, and just making sense of all the action. And if it's your first time watching drifting or your first time joining us, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. And again, we'll anything, you know, that's a little bit confusing, or maybe the technicalities, we'll explain all that to you guys, and don't worry about that. And also get in the comments, guys. Join us. We had a great conversation yesterday evening with most of the live stream viewers on YouTube. So if you are watching online, be sure to drop in some comments and get involved, and we'll be keeping an eye on those and throughout the day.
We sure will, Mike. Yesterday we had some great crack with the lads in the comments as well. And a lot of interesting questions as well coming in. Some about the track, some about the driving, some about the line and so on. So it is great to have the opportunity to be back and forth with the people watching from home, especially when we're in a different part of the country as well. We're up north now this weekend here in County Down, Bishopscourt, the home of Northern Ireland's drifting. And it's a great opportunity for the likes of the lads down south who couldn't unfortunately make the spin up here for today to actually watch in, see the action live, and know what to expect when they get to come see an event live up front.
Absolutely, absolutely. So once again, guys, we are here in Bishopscourt, and we are joined over to our left-hand side here, just out of camera, by 3 judges. We have Tomás Falvey, Tom Murphy, and the one and only, the Godfather, Mr. Kieran Hines. I think between them they have about 60 years of judging experience at this stage. Well, 50 at least anyway, so lots of experience in the judges' seat there, and we'll be going to those as well for any maybe some of the tighter calls, or if there's a bit of a technicality, we'll go to Kieran Hines to explain exactly what happened. We are here, of course, in a disused World War II airfield here in Bishopscourt. So we have an intersecting runway track, which is basically intersecting in an X. We launch the cars down the runway, and then we send them left right in front of us here in the tower, full throttle, over a track which has 6 clipping points. Quite technical, quite a difficult track to get right, and a track which actually slipped up quite a lot of drivers yesterday with the outside clips. We saw a couple of drivers, more than a couple actually, in fact, running off track and hitting the tyre barrier quite hard. So the conditions will play a part here, and I think if you go off track a little bit with the rear tyres, those marbles on the edge of the track are catching out a lot of drivers. So it will throw up a couple of surprises. There will be collisions. There will be a little bit of a, a bit of a shamazel, as we say down in Cork. So once again, guys, you are in for a treat today, I would say. Now, we have touched on the Pro 2 competition from yesterday. We have 8 drivers were invited to come up. Not all of those have come up because, of course, you are allowed to run semi-slick rear tyres here in Pro competition. They are 265 wide, and some of the cars, maybe like the Malays, the local guys here, mightn't have quite had the power to run the semi-slick tyres, so opting not to come into competition. But we do have, I believe, Adam, we do have about 4 drivers coming up from yesterday's competition, which will be very exciting as well. And I think overall we have 33 Pro drivers overall, including the Pro 2s from yesterday, battling it out for 32 qualification spots, and we will go through qualifying in order to whittle those drivers down to the top 32. Now, if you're not familiar with drifting, in qualification there are 2 runs for each driver, non-consecutive, so the runs go in, the driver will run first in reverse championship order, so the Pro 2 drivers will run first, and then the guys a little bit lower down in the championship here, like Sean Watt and Damien Wilkinson, Luke Talley actually quite low in the championship, will be running first, and we will go up through the championship then, and we will end up with Dylan Garvey and Jakub Shishak, the top drivers in the championship. Then we start all over again. We start at the top of the bracket and we run them down again through qualifying order in reverse championship order. So 2 runs for each driver, and if they mess them up, that's it, you're going home. It's quite difficult. And of course, we will have the qualification order screen up on the screen there, I believe, in a second, and we will see exactly who those drivers are. So in qualifying order, you do see the Pro 2 drivers there. Andrew Malloy, I think, not opting to compete, but we will have Dylan Wilson, I believe, as well, Jack Mulvihill there. And if you go down through it, then down to the bottom, we are in, once again, reverse championship order. So the real big runs, the likes of Declan Byrne with all the style there, Stephen Halferty, the relatively local man, Jason McInerney from Clare, and the all-conquering Dylan Garvey and Jakub Shishak will be running last. So that is exactly how we do it here in qualifying. The judges will be scoring scores out of 100 points, and they will be deducting for mistakes such as not being on the line, not filling up the clipping zones, and for little mistakes like straightening or maybe not a perfect transition, where they'll be docking some style points if the transition and the angle are a little bit, a little bit glitchy across the track, if they're not like a fluid, nice movement. They want to see a minimal use of the handbrake as well. They want to see the drivers coming into the first zone with a clutch kick entry, if at all possible, with a weight transfer. They will be deducting for handbrake use. If there is excessive handbrake into the first zone to initiate, they will actually be deducting, as well as, of course, deducting for wheels off, and again, little straightens, all that kind of thing. So we'll run you through it. You can get lost in the technicalities, Adam, before qualifying, but we'll run you through it according as the runs happen, guys, and don't worry too much about it, because we'll be explaining it as it goes on. So, Adam, we're halfway through the season almost. By the end of today, it's a 6-round championship. We are coming into round 3, of course. Interestingly, this season we're using a new format, guys, where it is the top 5 rounds out of 6 the drivers will be scored on. So they're allowed to drop a round basically. And we are at round, of course, we are at round 3 here, and I think we're going to have a calendar up as well, just to run through. So we have had Japfest in the can in Mondello Park. We have had Watergrass Hill in the can as well, which you just saw on the recap video there before the stream started. We are here in Bishopscourt, obviously, in the start of August, and 360 Motorsports Park. There is a venue change for that one, guys, so stay tuned to the socials for that during the week. We will announce that one. So 360 Motorsport Park, round 4 will be happening on the same date, but there is a venue change due to 360 Motorsports Park being unavailable for competition that weekend. Then we go down to Watergrass Hill, the home of drifting in Cork, to the super technical kart world, and we then have the grand finale in Mondello Park the 31st of October and the 1st of November, basically Halloween weekend, where we will be tying up both Pro 2 and Pro Action for 2026. So that is your calendar, guys. We're ready to rock for round 3 here. The judges are in place. Adam, we're excited after yesterday. We have to be excited for today. It's going to go up to 11 compared to yesterday now.
That is for sure, Mike. Right now we might be on a bit of a null energy-wise, but once the action kicks off out on track, I'm sure we're going to be jumping out of these seats, roaring and calling what we see right in front of us, because yesterday it was incredible. There was lots of drama. Even this morning throughout practice, a lot of drama as well. Some drivers finding this track quite difficult. It's a brand new layout as well, especially as you'll see now once we get into qualifying between zones 1 and 2. The judges are looking for a really wide arc. They want the drivers to keep on that outside line and flow through. That will also help them as well getting into 3 and so on, staying on that exact line that they want and what they'll be judged on. And a lot of drivers are struggling with that. You mentioned earlier about the use of the handbrake and how there may be deductions of points and so on for how you use it, long drags of the handbrake, and that's one thing these drivers are struggling with, especially with these grippy tyres. They need to use that handbrake through zones 1 and 2. Some are trying that flick, some are sending it as hard as they can basically to make it work, and it's very interesting to see the contrast in some of the drivers that are doing that and some are that are just settling for the deduction on use of handbrake compared to the deduction on missing a zone.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, some drivers will choose to use a little bit more handbrake to settle the car, maybe for the first qualifying run, to not take the risk of running off track and making a huge mistake and get a big deduction, and they'll take the little bit of a deduction with a little bit more safe use of the handbrake. Now, interestingly, guys, the judges did say into zone 3, the big outside zone, that there is allowed, you are allowed to use the handbrake there. It's a decel zone. You are allowed to lock up the wheels on the way into that, because it's quite a straight approach to it, and there's not quite the width in the track and the width in the transition to just flick the car and use a weight transfer and the transition to slow you. So the drivers are allowed to kind of approach it in a more or less straight line and use the handbrake. And so I'm just getting the thumbs up from our track controller, Sean, my old friend, that we are ready to rock, and we have cars on the line ready for pro competition here at IDS round 3.
That is for sure, Mike. I can't wait for this action to kick off. So we got our first driver on the line coming down here over the hills. We wait for the ground line up. This is where you can see it through zones 1 and 2. You need to stay on that outside line. That's exactly what this guy is doing right here in front of us. Jake McElveen, the Pro 2 driver, coming up from yesterday. Absolute flawless driving all of yesterday. He's going to do the same today on them semi-slicks. Really nice and wide there through zones 3 and transition between 3 and 4 flawlessly. Here we are, we're now in zone 5, where we call this the danger zone for this hard flick back into 6. Jake McElveen really showing what his talent is made of as he's now here on these slicks and putting on a great run. Yeah,
well, interestingly there, you mentioned Jake is on the semi-slick tyres compared to yesterday, where he was on street tyres in the Pro 2 class, which is the only tyre which is permitted. I did see him catching a little bit extra grip coming into 5 there and had a bit of a waver, so I think the bit of extra grip there, the side bite and the semi-slicks, just catching him out a small bit as he came into 5, and there was a little bit of a correction there. And of course we are going to be super critical here, guys, in pro competition, because it is the top level, but it's an 87.7 for Jake McElveen, getting us out of the blocks. And what about this guy yesterday, the winner from yesterday here, Adam? If I have to look at my phone here to take down the phonetic pronunciation, it is Maximus Bagauchis.
That is for sure, Mike. We called him Mad Max yesterday, and there's a reason why. You're seeing him right here in front of us. Look at his driving from this guest driver coming over from the UK, driving in the Drift League over in England, and now coming here to see what he can do in the Irish Championship, taking up the top spot yesterday in the Pro 2s, and I think he might be a contender for today.
Absolutely. He could be a contender for today, because that car was really hooked up yesterday, and I think when he puts on these semi-slick tyres, he could be a dark horse. And indeed, guys, 2 big scores from the guys coming up from Pro 2 yesterday, already in the high 80s, both of them. It's an 88.7 for Max in the E92 BMW, so a great run from the Londoner there. as we go back to the line. They're laying down the gauntlet here pretty quickly. Now Ryan Martin, a guy who won the Drift Superstar competition in the Pro Drift Academy many moons ago on Mondello Park. I was instructing myself for that one with Dave Egan and Brian Egan and Pete Nielsen and a lot of the old school guys, and this guy won it, and Ryan Martin is back in competition now with RB powered R32 Skyline. He has this car quite a long time. It is 500 brake horsepower on the TDP dyno with Robbie Thornton, and a top driver opting out of competition to concentrate on his business, Vital Fabrication, for many years there, but looking like he doesn't have any rust on him there, Adam.
That's for sure. The only business he'll be dealing with today is out on tracks. He puts on a score on the board for himself at 77.3. Great solid first score as well to get him down on the board so far. We don't have like a massive number like what we had yesterday of
well, we had
60 or so drivers, so there is space
yeah,
to have a lower score here, but we're moving back to the line now as we have Sean Watt coming down here into through zones 1 and into 2. Quite shallow here between 1 and 2, nearly missing zone 2 there, so he is, but a nice entry into zone 3, keeping it nice and wide here now, getting back on that ideal line, just dropping a tyre before leaving zone 3. A bit of a straight in there as well for 4. This is where the cars are struggling. There's a lot of speed needed and momentum there to keep the car going beyond the line, but he's doing it perfectly here between 5 and 6 and finishes out his first qualifying run.
Yeah, Sean Watt there, the lowest powered car on the grid with I don't think he's got 450 brake horsepower. The screen says it's an M3 engine in that car. It's an S54, I think. So 70 there for Sean Watt, just running off track a little bit of tree, catching those marbles that we spoke about in the intro and losing grip, and had to really straight line that transition as a result. And you know, we were spoiled with a couple of really high scores there from the first 2 runs, but this track is difficult, and you know, it is catching out the likes of inexperienced pro like Sean Watt.
Well, now we have on the line Luke Talley, the man behind Exemplar Airport Concierge, coming here through zones 1 and 2 absolutely flawlessly. This man suffering with some engine issues at round 2, the engine having to go be rebuilt completely, but now he's back out there and he's flying it. Look at this, he looks really comfortable in that GT86 with a GR86 front, looking flawless, but missing zone 6 there. This is where he's struggling. We call it the danger zone for a reason, Mike, and it's where a lot of drivers are struggling.
Yeah, really good run from Luke there up to that point. He was bang on the outside line, exactly what the judges want to see. And just again, a couple of drivers, as you say, coming into the danger zone there on 5, stuttering a little bit, catching a lot of grip on transition. Not sure if the track is super hooked up there or what's going on, but it is catching drivers out, and it's a 73.3 or 73.7, sorry, for Luke Talley on his first run. But they're putting in the banker lap at him. They're not, you know, taking the huge risks. Maybe he's backing out. He thought he was coming in a bit hot into 5. Getting the score on the board, and they'll really go for it on the second run. Now it's our first female competitor. It is all the way from Cork, Adrienne Wheatley, in the beautiful the Candy Culture era S13 with 2 JZ power.
That is for sure. We've seen Adrienne driving over in Oman and looking very confident since she's returned here to Ireland in that beautiful PS13. Look at her here. She goes through zones 1, 2 and 3 absolutely perfectly, playing it safe here for her first run, getting the score on the board. A banker lap, as we call it, Mike, getting through the danger zone on zone 5 perfectly, keeping it nice and wide now, and here in through 6 with that clutch kick to get her across the line.
Yeah, so I thought she was just between 5 and 6, maybe a tiny bit towards the right hand side of the track, but it's not going to be a big deduction. It did kind of throw her right rear wheel off of the edge of track at 6 as well. So yeah, 79.3 for Adrienne Wheatley, dropping her well up the board into 3rd position so far. So she'll be happy with that. That should see her good for battle action with the amount of cars that we have on the field here, but we'll have to wait and see, guys, as we move it along to Mark McKevitt, man with a lot of horsepower and an aggressive driving style. Let's see what he can do. He's looking very handsome there in the picture on the live stream here, Adam.
Handsome for sure, and very determined as well, as he's got 800 brake horsepower underneath the bonnet of that 180SX. This man, a local man as well, from County Down, so not too far for travel for this weekend.
Yeah, well, we are in County Down, Adam, so he's yeah, definitely a local man with 800 brake horsepower. The 37-year-old firing the 180SX down here, down the runway, and flicks in. And almost wheelies, catches the grip. Did you see the grip that car just put down there, Adam? I mean, it almost wheelied, and it pushed him into the inside of the track, taking him offline with the grip that he has dialed into this car.
That's for sure. And then that stumble after catching grip through 1 and 2 has messed him up coming into 3. Nearly hitting the tyre wall, but back online now, coming back for 5 and flicking it in through 6, the last zone of the track, and crossing the line. That issue there coming in, leaving zone between zone 1 and coming off, or zone 1 and 2 coming offline is really going to be a big deduction to his score.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looks like he's in a battle set up here. Martin Kevin with a 56.7 just. He looks like he's got a battle set up here in terms of grip. He's probably better off loosening it up for the second lap and just floating it around a little bit. Now Matt Smith, all the way over from the UK, the 700 brake horsepower S13 making its way down onto the track. Very Japanese looking car here, Adam.
It sure is a very stylish looking car. I love the look of a PS13 out on track. A very commonly used drift chassis as well, the S13. You can see why here as Matt Smith pushes it right out to the edge of the circuit through each and every zone here now, fulfilling zone 4 completely full, getting all his points, and through 5 as well. Looking very strong here from Matt Smith on his first qualifying run. Quite shallow there on the line of the track between 5 and 6, but gets it across the line.
Yeah, he was going top there, except he just hesitated coming into 6, but I really loved his fluidity, guys. Once again, if you're watching from home, that was a lot of style points there. You saw the whole run just was very fluid, but he does go top. 90.7 for Matt Smith, first score in the 90s here, guys, from the UK man, and it's a big score from him, and I think he was on for a mid-90s there, except for that hesitation through 6, but overall a great lap up to that point. Now look at this, the guy on the line is Alex Butler, the young man all the way from County Louth, one of the up-and-coming talents of Irish drifting, just 15 years of age, taking a double victory at the Red Bull Drift Pursuit event a couple of months ago in Mondello Park. And what a talent this young man is, Adam.
Talent is for sure, Mike. We see him every time he's out on track, making a show, putting on a show for everyone in attendance. He's going to do the same here again today. Look at this from Alex Butler, so dialed in. He knows that car very, very well. He knows how to place it where it needs to be, and he's doing that as he puts it, the back end of it, right into the edge of zone 4 and back in for 5 now. The young man from County Louth, only 15 years of age, and look at him as he pilots that car on the track.
Yeah, great run there from Alex Butler. I mean, he always looks like he's just so far ahead of this car. It's a turbo BMW engine actually in that car as well, so an interesting choice of power plant, but he looks always like he's so far ahead. And guys, Alex Butler goes top in qualifying already with a 94.7. What a run from the young Louth man, laying down the gauntlet. And here on track now is a man who went missing all week, I believe, turned up in Bishopscourt. He's a Mayo man. He was at the All-Ireland final last Sunday. Mayo won the All-Ireland, guys, if you're watching from abroad, for the first time in, I believe, 75 years after being in the final, I think 11 times roughly in that space of time. So it's a huge thing. The Gaelic football over here is almost a religion. Johnny Flynn was at that final, went missing all week, turned up in Bishopscourt.
That's for sure. Enough about Gaelic football, because the action here now is drifting, Mike, and Johnny Flynn knows what he's doing. Can Mayo take his top spot and win today as well? We're going to find out, because Johnny Flynn finishes out his first qualifying run and taking that cone out of it as he crosses the line.
Yeah, with the Mayo flag up in the spoiler there. So Johnny Flynn having the week of his life. Not looking worse for wear for it though, putting in a pretty good lap there, a good aggressive lap at the end, and it's an 84.7. That little mistake there at the end, just dropping in. But overall, a good solid qualifier for the first one for Johnny Flynn. Now I don't have to look at my sheet, it's an R33 Skyline on the line, which means that is Adam Kelly, the man who plies his trade at Dean Import with Mike Dean there, of course, brother of the famous James. And this R33 has a 2J under the bonnet, and it is 800 horsepower. Adam is, of course, the mechanic as well for Conor Falvey in the Drift Masters European Championship. So no stranger to top-level competition, but he is behind the wheel of his own car here in Irish competition, ready to rock and ready to leave the line once the start line marshal gives the go-ahead, which he has done. And Adam Kelly now leaves the line. Adam, you know, Adam Kelly can blow a bit hot and cold sometimes. He'll be hoping to blow hot today.
Hopefully so, Mike. Maybe not the most consistent driver, but when he does do good, he does great. And look at this now as he comes into zone 3. Oh, unfortunately, Stumming nearly losing drift there with the car and spinning, but getting it back online now for the second half of this run. Dragging a handbrake to get into zone 5. Struggling by the looks of it, Mike, not being able to fill every zone the way he needs to be, and taking the cone out of it as well as he crosses the line.
Yeah, just maybe, you know, this track flows from one into the other, as you hinted at in the intro, so I think maybe it just started to fall apart there around zone 2 for Adam, and the rest of the track then is always a struggle when you get a mistake in there early. So just a 69.3 for the Waterford man. He'll be looking to improve in the second lap, and he definitely has the ability to do so. Now we go back to the line, and it is Leon Lynch on the line, I believe.
It sure is Leon Lynch in a stunning looking 180 SX, 666 horsepower. Very
specific figure.
Very specific.
And he does look quite menacing in the picture there as well. So, and the black race suit. This is very ominous looking now here from Leon Lynch.
It sure is. Another man part of the 11-0 Lemon style drifting. We've seen two of them drivers out yesterday, but today Leon Lynch in the pro category is putting it down on tracks. He puts foot to floor through zones 1 and 2. Loads of smoke coming off the back of that car, as you can see the rear bumper wobbling, and nearly losing it there on zone 3, leaving it very, very early, trying to get himself back online now so he can correct himself and get correctly into zone 5, and he does do that, Mike. Shallow on it, not fulfilling it completely, but making it work for himself, and right on the shallower end of zone 6 as well.
Yeah, well, some drivers are demonstrating how difficult this track is. The surface is quite bumpy as well. It is a runway. If you've ever been in a plane and had a landing, you know how, you hear the little juts, almost railway-like, that there's little bumps in between the sections of concrete or tarmac. And those bumps can throw up a few surprises, and a couple of drivers showing us that. Leon Lynch with a 54.7 only, so the lowest score we've seen so far, dropping into 12th so far. Lowest position now, Matt Derrin is leaving the line. The man with the best beard in drifting, of course, husband of Kat Derrin, who we saw competing yesterday, with a big flick entry from Matt Derrin there, and a straighten at him. He caught the grip as well.
That's for sure. Huge correction between 1 and 2, but getting into each zone, which will definitely gather him some points, but not the ideal line so far from Matt Derrin. We saw Kat out there yesterday looking very strong in her stylish E30 BMW. Matt's out here today in his E36. That engine growls coming through 5 and 6 here, back on the accelerator to cross the line.
Yeah, magnificent Matt Derrin there with the magnificent beard. And not the most magnificent lap, but still a score 71.3 for Matt, putting him kind of into the lower midfield so far in 9th position. And back to the line, we are knocking out the qualifying runs quickly here, guys, in IDS. Round 3 in Bishopscourt, and it is, of course, the one and only, the brother of Dylan Garvey, older brother. It is David Garvey on the line in the beautiful S13 Sylvia. Very familiar with this car as well, because it does make its way down to us in Group D the odd time. And top build in this car, and Dave is looking, more and more comfortable in this car every time that he's out in it, Adam.
That's for sure. Brother of Dylan Garvey, two very talented brothers when it comes to drifting. And look at this, as David Garvey puts a stunning PS13 right into zone 3 here. A bit shallow on the start of it, but getting back onto the line for the second half now, as he's not on too much angle between 4, but transitioning perfectly then for 5, taking a very safe approach to this run. So he is David Garvey, and struggling a bit there on zone 6 as well.
Yeah, it is a tough track here, guys, and those rear tires really make everything grip up super much, super much. Make everything grip up.
English good.
Super English good by me. Super much. They make things super difficult because of the grip on the rear of these cars, and that's being demonstrated by a lot of these qualifying runs. And it does work in battles. It makes the car very fast, but it does make it difficult to be fluid throughout qualifying. As we wait for Dave's score to drop in, which we will get to in a minute. It's a 70 for David Garvey. Hasn't come up on screen, but 70 for David Garvey as we move it along down the track. And it is Ben Rogers out on track.
It sure is a man that have a lot of experience driving on this track, being from up this direction himself. Look at this, he creates loads of smoke, tire smoke, off the back of that stunning Nissan Silvia, right out to the edge of the track now for zone 5 as well. Ben Rogers looking very strong on his first run here, getting lots of practice in on this track, and crosses the line for his first qualifying run of round 3.
Yeah, so once again, guys, 70 for Dave Garvey. Didn't see it on the graphic there, but Ben Rogers dropping in a qualifying lap, and Ben Rogers putting in a big score as it jumps up on our screen here. It's a 90.3 for Ben Rogers, so the third driver into the 90s. So 90.3 for Ben. And we don't have Dean Byrne, I believe, for the first qualifying lap at least. So we do have Jack Caldwell on the line, the young man from Strabane in County Tyrone with 700 brake horsepower under the bonnet, just 16 years of age. Hard to believe because he's around this sport for so long, with his brother, of course, and the dad. Let's see what he can do. Look at this. He's really one of the up-and-coming top drivers in the country, Adam, and he's showing it right here. Look at that right on the wall.
That's for sure. Oh, my commentator's curse. He was right up against the wall, and unfortunately right up against the tyre wall as well as the back end of that car. Smashes off it and pulling the front end back in with it. I was watching Jack Trout practice on Friday evening here.
Yeah, we've got a tow, definitely have a tow issue on the back of the car.
Yeah, for sure. You can see that wheel is not looking as straight as it should be. His team, his pit crew will be working very hard and tremendously to get that back out for the second qualifying run.
Working tremendously, yeah.
A
Tremendously.
big word
exactly.
there.
Big
Strong,
words.
you know.
English good with you.
It's great.
Not good with me.
Great English good.
Much grip. Whatever I said. But yeah, Jack Caldwell. Jack is one of the top drivers there, guys. But again, just right on the edge of the track, possibly caught those marbles. These tires chunk. You know, they chunk up quite a lot and throw the little bits, as you can see right on camera here at the edge of the track. If you get your rear tires on those marbles, you tend to lose quite a lot of grip quite fast. I think that's what happened here. He was perfectly on that outside line, and yeah, just paid the price for being on the perfect line. I guess didn't preempt the lack of grip and ran into the tires, and he is going to have to get up the big hammers and straighten the back of that car. Need 2 arms. That car will be on Wise Fab. I know Aidan Caldwell will have Wise Fab on the back of that car, so hopefully they have the spares to straighten the back of that.
That's for sure, Mike. Just going back to Dean Byrne as well, who we should have seen out before Jack Caldwell, having some power steering issues on his car, the power steering pump causing some issues for the crew, so hopefully they're going to get that sorted and be back out for their second qualifying run, but we'll have to wait and see. As on the line right now, we speak of young talent. There's some young talent right there. Is Davin Leahy in his stunning GT86?
Yeah, well, as we get the tyres tidied up, much more importantly than any drifting, we have the lawnmower, the ride-on lawnmower racing, as you can see here, guys, in the background. Much more important than the drifting.
Main reason we're here this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. Looks like the best crack you can ever have in your life. We didn't quite make it up last night. We were threatening, but we got caught after the podium there, and it was all over. So we didn't quite get a go, but we might make our way over this evening or during the break here and maybe get a quick go on those. But yeah, I think that's what we're all here for. The ride-on lawnmower racing.
It sure is. We had a few crashes and incidents yesterday, and we kind of spent most of our time when we had our downtime. Not talking about drifting, but talking about lawnmowers, to be honest, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And John Deere's and, you know, New Hollands and all that kind of thing.
That's for sure.
That we know nothing about.
But while we have this opportunity as well, Mike, we may as well give a shout out to those who make drifting possible, especially our 2 title sponsors this weekend. It's Lucky Day Competitions and Red Bull. But back to the action now. It's Davin Leahy leaving the line in his GT86, 600 brake horsepower. Look at this initiation here from young Davin Leahy, only 17 years of age, young man from County Waterford, putting it right up against the wall there in the entry into Zone 3. Looking very strong here, so he is, Mike. Lots of power in that car, and he's well dialed in with it, with the whole family working on it behind the scenes, making sure it's ready for every single round. The kit looking very stylish as well for this year, and Davin Leahy putting on a great first qualifying run.
Yeah, I think he's just after dropping himself into the top 3-4 there easily. Maybe not perfect on 6, he could have just been a tiny bit wider out there, and the car looks super hooked up as usual. The speed of these cars here, guys, is absolutely crazy. I mean, the live stream doesn't quite show it, as it never does. I mean, Mondello Park looks quite slow on the live stream, and it is far from slow, but these cars are hooked up so much. And definitely, with a 76.3, so I must have missed something on that run there, unfortunately, as I was looking at him in real life out the window here instead of watching the stream and watching for the little bits and bobs.
That's for sure. We speak about point deductions, being how deep you are into the zone as well, may deduct some points. We're back to the line now. Hopefully a man who can put it right out to the edge of every single zone is Jack Malwini in his BMW E46. A man from County Derry is up here this weekend, determined to try to get a spot on the podium as he comes into Zone 3 here. A bit shallow on the initiation into it, but getting right back out to the edge for the second half. Filling Zone 4, picking up his points where it needs to be done. Now into 5. Bit shallow on the line for it, but picking up that whole zone as well as 6 here.
Yeah, Jack Malwini, one of the top drivers in the Pro Championship, making his way up from Pro 2 a couple of years ago and looking very, very, very strong. Always, you know, thereabouts, great lead driver, and it's a 87.9 for Jack, putting him into 5th position so far on our leaderboard. And we look to the line, and it is the first of the Davy brothers. It should be Dean Davy in the Carrick Karting self-sponsored 180SX.
That's for sure, Mike. The 2 Davy brothers always do what the Davies do and put on a show for us, so they do. Dean Davy here doing the first 2, going out. A lot of rhyming there, so there was, as he just drops the tyre between 1 and 2, began right back onto the edge of the track for Zone 3. These guys are dialed in. They were asking lots of questions at briefing this morning. They want to know how the judges want to see it done, and they're going to try replicate with what they were told to do out on track, and Dean Davy's doing quite a good job of it at the right moment. Right here between 5 and 6, just dropping tyres, nearly 2 tyres off before crossing the line.
Just hearing the judges there leaving out a little noise of disappointment at the end of the run. I think he was on for a big run there, but it's just an 84 for Dean Davey. If you're wondering how the scores drop in so quickly, the judges actually have a keypad where they're deducting, they start at 100.
It's like a little game controller, basically, yeah.
They're deducting the score according as the run goes on, and there's a set deduction for each little mistake, and that's how the scores drop in pretty much instantly here in IDS, leaving us blast through qualifying. And you'll notice that we have a tyre wall here as well instead of a concrete wall on the outside of Outer Zone 3. We saw exactly what that did in Formula Drift, the cancelled Formula Drift event, the first event in their calendar, in their history, which was cancelled ever due to rain last night. But yeah, the guys in FD there with an outer wall, we're using a tyre wall here, and it is saving cars. A little bit of suspension damage, but the car seems to survive. Now it's the second Davey brother alongside each other in championship. Oh, and a big lack of initiation. They're catching grip. Jake Davey catching all the grip with the rear of his S13, and unfortunately failed to initiate.
That's for sure, Mike.
That's showing the level of grip here.
Literally, just as I was about to say there, the amount of grip that's out there on that track, especially after pro practice this morning. It's been completely dry here since yesterday morning, and the rubber being laid down is only getting thicker. Jake Davey, that's not what we're used to seeing by him. He's last year's Pro 2 champion, looking very comfortable up here in the pros on them semi-slicks with that new build car, twinning with his brother. I'm not too sure what happened there in initiation. I think he was going for that flick entry, trying not to use the handbrake, and it just didn't work out from the car cock grip and just went straight.
Yeah, and I've just noticed as well on the track limits there, since Caldwell's run there, the track seems to be kind of clean now. The limits, the grip seems to be there, so it's going to be interesting for the rest of qualifying. And Jake Davey there catching all the grip, failing to initiate unusually. Super consistent driver, the young Sligo man, but yeah, not going well for him there. Now we go back to the line, and it is the man from Galway in the lines in the beautiful, the third 180SX we've had in a line. This is 2JZ power, 700 brake horsepower in the lines. Going for a little bit more of a tentative entry there, Adam.
It sure is. I said at the start of this year, the end of lines, this could be his year, and I think it might still just be. Look at this, he puts it out to the edge of the track for zone 3. Second half of this run looking a lot stronger than the first half, getting right into zone 5 with a drag of the handbrake and the line. 700 brake horsepower underneath the bonnet of that 180. Fresh livery for this season as well, looking very good and driving very well. Bit of a struggle there on the first and second zone. Maybe a bit shallow, nearly missing zone 2, but getting back online then for the second half.
Yeah, Indy looking chuffed with himself in the live stream. Profile picture there, 72.3 for the Galway man. Not the score he'd have wanted either, because of course, guys, as well as getting you up the grid in qualifying, you do buy yourself a theoretical easier battle bracket. So if you qualify in first, you take on the person who qualified in 32nd position, etc. Now we move it along. It is, look at this being fired in. It is the E46 M2-bodied BMW of Darrell Barnett. Look at this, but he's gone very wide here. Adam locks it up and into the tyre wall. And as we said, the tyre wall saving cars there. A bit of bodywork damage on the back of that car, but it's 0 for Darrell Barnett, giving him a massive wait now until second qualifying, and he's gonna have about 30 minutes here to think long and hard about this mistake.
That's for sure, Mike. He's going to be sitting on the edge of his seat, wondering what way his second qualifying run is going to go, because all the pressure will be on. He looked very confident, though, coming through zones 1 and 2 there, until he got to zone 3, where the car just fully flowed out into the tyre wall.
So Darrell Barnett with a 0, with all the experience in the world out of the Armagh man, but unfortunately for him, not putting it to use there, and zone 3 claiming another victim. Well, we do have a car leaving the line, I do believe. The camera just panning up to it. Look at this, is Declan Byrne. What style does this car have here, Adam?
Style for sure. We see this man out on track at every single round, putting on a show for us. A great character outside the car and great character in the car as it gets through zone 3. Having a few issues, this car, in fact, over the weekend with his throttle cable being a bit stiff on him, but it looks like he's got a fix for himself. This morning having a bit of a bump as well throughout practice, but the car is back in running order now. Oh, just through 6 there, making a huge mistake very late into it, but getting across the line.
Yeah, the style king of driving, Declan Byrne, always with the big entries. Maybe not the track that allows you have that, you know, typical maybe Mondale or Watergrass Hill entry here in Bishopscourt, but Declan Byrne bringing the style nonetheless, maybe sacrificing the last zone a bit, but it is an 85 for the Carlow man, putting him into 7th position there, Adam.
7th position is a strong place to be in at the moment, and it'll be sure to see him into battle action with a score like that. As we go back to the line now with our next man, it is a car that we saw out on track yesterday. Stephen Halferty. That car was borrowed to one of our drivers yesterday who was suffering with some mechanical issues, but hopefully Stephen Halferty will be able to put it where it needs to be right now in his first run.
That was actually his other car with the M3 engine yesterday, I think. He's got another exact same car with an M3, I believe, in it still. This is the 2J one. This is the big one.
Learn something new every day. I thought
I believe.
I thought the 2J was just an upgrade he'd done, but look at this. The 2J is very much suiting him otherwise regardless. Stephen Halferty getting to the edge of each and every zone he's come through so far as he flicks it in now, zone 6 in that long E36 wagon.
Yeah, well, I believe I'll have to verify that, but I thought I heard naturally aspirated S54 noises yesterday for sure from Stephen's car, which was on borrow to Callum Coogan. But it's a 94, guys, for the Derryman. Stephen Halferty, a huge run there, putting him straight into second place in qualifying, right behind Alex Butler. That's a little bit more Stephen Halferty. You know, that's what we're expecting from him, Adam. Maybe not having the perfect season so far, but he's still way up there in the championship. He's fourth in the championship, actually, or fifth, sorry. We don't have Owen Magner, unfortunately. Owen Magner, who's sitting in fourth in the championship, his SR22 VE expiring at the last round, and unfortunately for him, he has called it a year, and he is going to rebuild that car, possibly with a different power plant. But Jason McInerney is at third in the championship. The Clareman is coming on strong here. At a big flick entry from him. Oh, too big, Adam.
Too big for sure. Nearly doing a 360 in the car. You can see it there on the stream. He does not look happy about that, shaking his head. He knows it shouldn't have went that way. He has the talent to do a really good run, as he's going to use this maybe as an opportunity to test the car. Maybe there's some issues with the car.
Yeah, seems to be testing his steering here. You know, he will have had quite a lot of practice this morning. I presume that the car there looks to be quite a lot of positive camber on the back. Yeah, I'm not sure if the back geometry is right on the back left there. We do generally run positive camber on them and positive toe angle, but that looks quite extreme there. So I'm not sure if everything is okay with the back of McInerney's car, but that's super uncharacteristic of him. He'll have to do it all in the second run. Now to the line, Adam. It is the championship man along with Kuba. It's Dylan Garvey on the line.
Absolutely, this guy is in the run to take for the championship, but Kuba could take him down for that. We're going to have to find out here as it all comes out to every single run they do. As they leave the line, it's Dylan Garvey in his freshly built 180SX 800 brake horsepower. Look at this. This is why this man is fighting for the championship. Look at the run. Huge angle. Oh my God, the judge is going to be delighted with that one as he comes into zone 3, nearly 90 degrees to the wall, all the way through here now into zone 5. Dylan Garvey knows it's a strong one. He knows in the car that he's doing quite well. He's creating loads of smoke as them semi-slick tyres burn off the rear end of the County Kilkenny's man's car. We can hear some clapping outside, well deserved for Dylan Garvey.
Yeah, we were in Japan there for a second as he came into zone 3. Beautiful style there, the transition. Just we were actually looking at Japanese style drifting there. And guys, Dylan Garvey tops qualifying with a score 96.7 for the Kilkenny man. What a run, what a man this guy is. And you know, I'm a huge fan of his driving style, but the man leading the championship, the man who will look to top qualifying, take Dylan Garvey off that top spot, has just left the line.
That's for sure, taking the top spot in the Pro 2 Championship only 2 years ago. Jakob Kriszczak looking very comfortable in the pros here. He's a name we're going to see in lots of. Great character outside the car and very talented once he's behind the wheel. Look at this, Jakob Kriszczak. Can he match the score of his competitor Dylan Garvey, or even higher, as he comes here now into zone 5, right out to the outer edge, playing it safe, Jakob Kriszczak here, as he comes across the line, finishing out zone 6.
Well, very interesting to see the two different styles here between Kuba and Dylan Garvey. Bear in mind, guys, there are championship points on the line for qualifying as well. If you qualify in first position, you get 11 championship points, and there are 100 available for a win. Jakob Kriszczak goes into fourth place in qualifying with a 93.7. Didn't quite bring the style like Dylan Garvey did, but a really consistent, super chaseable lead run there from Kuba. So 93.7 for Kuba, Stephen Halferty on a 94, Alex Butler on a 94.7, and Dylan Garvey is on a 96.7 after first qualifying session. We go back to the start of Pro 2 now, Adam.
It sure is a Pro 2 driver that should be in the Pro 1 category, in my opinion, Michael. Jake McAveen has all the talent. 87.7, a very strong score on the board already for him. Can he top that? It looks like he might just do so as he puts that car every single place that it needs to be, paying attention to qualifying and knowing what he needs to do out on track. Them semi-slicks suit him very well. 600 brake horsepower is exactly what he needs. Crossing the line there, Jake McAveen outstanding run.
Yeah, he looks super comfortable on the tyres. I did notice a tiny bit of a correction as he entered 3 and caught a lot of grip, but overall it was a great run there from the County Down man, and it's a 91.3, guys, for young Jake McElveen, 18 years of age, 600 brake horsepower. And it is a huge run from him, putting him into the 90s. 5th position so far for Jake McElveen. Now we go back to the line as I get my phonetic pronunciation of this again. It is Max Bagauchis.
It sure is. Maximus Bagauchis coming through here through zones 1 and 2. The mystery man yesterday that has popped up out of nowhere, coming in to the Irish Championship. Look at this angle from him up against the wall, entering into zone 3, fulfilling that zone perfectly and flawlessly now here as he comes into zone 4. This man is a guy we're going to have to keep our eyes on, Mike, because he might even take a top spot today. I don't know. He could be throwing a real spanner into the works for the 2 championship standings of Pro 2 and Pro 1. Crossing out the line, 88.7 on his first run already on them semi-slicks.
Well,
is he going to top it?
I don't think so, but interestingly, this guy, it's an 83.3 for Max on his second run, but interestingly, this guy won Pro 2 yesterday. He's from London. He had a ferry booked back this morning at 7 o'clock. I do believe that they cancelled the ferry. You spoke with him as well. He was going home. I do believe he was talked out of going home on the ferry and stayed on for an extra day to compete in the pro class. And looks like he's on an 88.7 on the first run.
That's for sure. I asked him, is his plan to stay around? He says, we said if we enjoyed it, we'd stay around. And he definitely enjoyed it for sure, taking the top spot yesterday. I want to see how he's going to get on the pro class today as we go back to the line now with Ryan Morton sitting on 77.3 after his first run. 500 brake horsepower for the man from County Dublin. Not too sure if there's some issues there. Our track marshal just getting the track ready. Once again, might bring the attention back to the lawnmower racing across the way as they're flying around the place. But another man that's flying is Ryan Morton as he comes down the line here of the RAF airstrip. Ryan Morton putting it right out to the edge for zones 1 and into 2 here. Look at this as that skyline looks absolutely stunning. Very wide and just hitting off the tyre wall there in zone 3. Nearly shutting it down, but getting back on throttle to fulfill the rest of his run all the way out now for the edge of zone 5. Looking confident on the second half of this run. I'm not too sure there's going to be an improvement after that huge mistake on zone 3, but looking very good here.
Yeah, looking good there from Ryan in the skyline. Great to see him back in competition, taking many years out to build his business Vital Fabrication, where he works on customer drift cars, doing fabrication, believe it or not.
Really, a fabrication place doing fabrication.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a 57.3 for Ryan, so no improvement. We're absolutely blasting through qualifying here. It is Sean Watt leaving the line with the M3 powered. I don't think it's 450 horsepower. It's an S54, pretty standard. I think it's more like 340 brake horsepower. You can see it here struggling a little bit to spin up the semi-slicks, but he's a long-time competitor here in the pro class, and he does very much know how to make this car work, Adam.
He sure does. Sean Watt knows what he is doing as he puts it right up against the wall on zone 5 here, playing with the throttle between 5 and 6. He transitions now with huge angle, and just loses it before he crosses the line. Sean Watt's not going to be happy with that, sitting on 70. He's just doing rings now. He wants to get rid of them tyres by the looks of it. Sitting on 70 after his first qualifying run. It's going to be a 0 on his second, unfortunately, for the man from County Antrim. But we should be seeing him in battle action from what I could expect of the scoring at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the time here. I think we're actually going to finish up, do the unheard of and finish up qualifying a little bit early. So we were scheduled to go back to top 32 action at 2 o'clock. We'll double check if that's correct. And we'll let you know, guys, when we will be back for top 32 action later on, because we are making great time through quali here for once. Well, we do always go through quickly, but there's delays and breakdowns.
We're flying it today.
Now, watch somebody break a diff down, cover the track in Ireland.
Don't be saying that now, as Luke Talley suffered enough car issues before. He's back out there looking very comfortable. Look at that entry from Luke Talley, the man from Exemplar, in his very stylish, modern Toyota chassis, looking very comfortable in that car as well. We've seen him out in his practice car, the 350Z, in round 2, but it didn't suit him as well as this one does, with a lot of horsepower, a small bit less than what I originally had at 715, but he said it grips up a lot more, feeling a bit faster and a bit more comfortable for him to drive, and looks like that as he does a 360 a lot across the line.
Yeah, maybe not where he wants to be in the championship, and not where his driving ability would suggest that he is in the championship. Because he is capable of a much higher spot, and he is showing that with a score there, guys, of 87, putting Luke Talley into 10th position in the qualifying, in fact, not in the championship, but in qualifying, and he does drop into the top 10 provisionally, at least. Now back on the line, it is It's an S13. I don't have to look at my sheet. It is Adrian Wheatley, I believe, on the line, and she is currently sitting on a. I will look at the sheet for this. Adrian Wheatley is on a 79.3 so far, guys. So she's way down in 14th. It's not way down in the top 32, I guess. If it was the top 16, she'd be in trouble. But she's quite safe with this first score. Let's see what she can do. Can she improve here? Tentative entry here from the Cork woman.
That's for sure. As you could see the smoke coming out of the back of the car, she locked them back wheels, initiating in through zones 1 and 2. She's taking the choice to get every single zone. She's doing that perfectly here now. She comes through zone 3 with lots of smoke bellowing out of the back of that PS13. Stunning looking Candy Culture livery on it. 79.3 on the board. Can she improve on that? A bit shallow there between zones 5 and 6, but getting back online now, and a bit late into 6 as well, but crossing the line while on the edge of the track.
Yeah, only female competitor in IDS Pro, and doing it for the girls is Adrian Wheatley, and very consistent scoring there. Not an improvement with a 78.7, but great consistency there with a 79.3 on her first run. So she's sitting in midfield. Once again, guys, the advantage of qualifying highly is not only championship points, but if you qualify in first, you face off against 32nd, second place 31st, etc. And of course, the higher qualifier will always lead in battles first here in IDS, so that is a big advantage as well, which we will tell you about later on.
That's for sure, Mike. As we can see, Mark McKivitt in his 180 SX coming down in here through zones 1 and 2. This man...
No, too fast there.
Saved it.
Just.
It was a bit of it on the edge of your chair kind of moment for Mark there, but he made it work for himself. Lots of speed here. That car is definitely set up for battle action later on. Looking quite smooth and fluent as well around the track, but not getting on that exact line the judges want to see. 56.7, not a great score in his first run. What's his second score going to be?
Yeah, it's a big improvement. So 72 for Mark McKevitt. Going off track there a little bit, but the judges liking, I guess, the aggression there and the impact from that run. It was a door handle stuff there from the County Down man, so he goes up into 18th position, and I'm looking forward to seeing this next one now on the line. It is Matt Smith with a huge run in the first run. Really, really Japanese livery on this car as well. Everything looking good for the UK man, and let's see. He was on a 90.7 on the first run. He is still sitting in 6th position. So can he take it to the next level? Can he do a Dylan Garvey here? Can he bring in the style now, flick it into the big outside zones and bring in that Japanese style that the judges seem to be rewarding today?
I think he does have the ability to do so, Mike. I saw him throughout practice and he looks very comfortable in that PS13. 700 brake horsepower is exactly what he needs to do, what Dylan Garvey done already. I think he has the ability to do it, but is he going to? Is he going to get ready to leave the line now for his second qualifying run? Coming all the way over from the UK, he wants to make it worth his while. 90.7 on his first run, a really high score. He's going to come out here all loose, trying to top that just because he can. And look at this, right on the edge of the track. Very clean through zones 1 and 2 from Matt Smith. Right up here now, very early coming in on angle for zone 3, but making it work for himself. Right out to the edge, painting them white lines with tyre marks as he comes into zone 5 here. No real handbrake used, but a big shutter and nearly shutting it down between 5 and 6. Yeah. Maybe some mechanical issues here, Mike, or maybe just the gearing, missing gear and going losing all tyre speed.
Don't think he'd have been doing a gear change there in the middle of 5, to be honest. So I don't know, did I hear what we call in Cork a ball of revs there? So I'm not sure if we got a clutch slip issue for Matt Smith, but they'll be checking that in the pits. And luckily here in Bishopscourt we do have a separate area, which is a separate fun drift area. The competitors can actually go in there and test the car, so Matt Smith might be going over there testing his clutch. Now back to the line. In second position currently in qualifying, it is the young man, 15 years of age, 500 brake horsepower, BMW turbo power, M54 power, I think, 52 or 54 power, I should know because I got the parts for this engine at one stage in Group D. But anyway, it's turbo BMW power for Alex Butler. Look at this, perfectly on that outside line, Adam.
It sure is. 94.7 on the board. You can see why that man scored a very high score in his first run. He does the same thing here in zone 3, nearly tapping the rear wheel off the wall as he leaves that zone, but getting back online now for the rest of the track, looking very strong here as usual, and what we'd expect from young Alex Butler, only 15 years of age and an incredible talent. 15 years of age, driving like he has 15 years experience.
Yeah, he's just so ahead of the car, and it's a 92, guys, for Alex Butler on his second lap. Really consistent as well from the load man. Doesn't improve, but super consistency, and I think if he just kept the rear of the car out of that wall, he might have topped qualifying there. possibly might have quite had the style of Garvey, but you know, overall, really great lap there from the young loadman. He'll be one to watch for battles. We go back to the line once again. The Mayo man missing for the week. Maybe might have been in the pub once or twice this week. Is Johnny Flynn. There wasn't a radiator bled in Mayo by the plumber this week. I'd say he was just having the time of his life, and now he's here in Bishopscourt.
That's for sure. Missed calls from every housewife in Castlebar on Jonathan Flynn's phone. Celebrating all week after a win for his county. Can he be celebrating after a win for himself today? Sitting on 84.7 on his first run. A very strong scorer, a very good driver as well, and we'll be seeing him at battle action later on. But can he top qualifying? There's some really strong scores out there already with 7 drivers in the 90s already. Jonathan Flynn's not too far off. Can he get that extra 5.3 points on the board for himself to get into the 90s club as well?
Well, yeah, I don't know if he's got a 90 in him. Watching it in practice, he might just skirt on the 90s. The Mayo man, yeah, he's looking good here. He's right on the outside. Let's see if he gets the transition done. Has a little bit of a waver, but gets on that outside line towards the first third of the zone. Tiny bit of a correction there on the wheels. Little bit of style points lost there, but overall pretty good. Gets the car rotated really nice to the outside of zone 5 on entry. Now full tyre smoke from the back of the S14. Nice transition as well, so yeah, might find himself in the 90s here. Adam, a couple of little mistakes there if we're being super critical, which we have to be in pro competition, but overall really nice lap here from the Mayo man. Yeah,
that
bang
is for
on,
sure.
90. Yeah.
I said it, 5.3 extra points is all he needed, and that's exactly what he done. Into the 90s club for Jonathan Flynn. He's going to be happy with that one. As we go back to the line now with another driver in a very stylish car, it is Adam Kelly, sorry, apologies, the mechanic from Dean M Sport, well capable of managing a car. Can he manage it while he's in the driver's seat? 69.3 on the board for himself. A bit of a sketchy first run for the Waterford man. He has a lot of room to improve here and put himself higher up in the qualifying order. Can he do so?
Yeah, well, he is capable of it. Like we said, you know, he can get out of the right side of the bed or the wrong side of the bed sometimes for qualifying. He's a good battler. But the qualifying can be a little bit sketchy sometimes for Adam, but when he does good, he does very good, so hopefully he has gotten his head in the game, get a little bit of focus, and he has plenty of time on the line here to think about it, because we're just making sure that the track is clear there. And this is where being a competitor really comes into it, Adam. When you're sitting in the car's ticking over around you, it's getting hotter, you're watching your temperatures, you're watching your pressures. You have to think about the job at hand, though. You have to focus on the track. There's nothing but you, your car, and the track at this stage, and all the nerves for qualifying have to dissipate right now when you hit the throttle.
Right now is for sure as Adam Kelly's out there with just himself and his car as he initiates here with huge angle through zones 1 and 2. Looking very strong already for Adam Kelly. This could be a big improvement for himself as he comes now into zone 3. Bit sketchy through it, shallow on the start of it, and early losing drift on the second half and making it work now as he looks very strong on the second half of this run. Again, Adam Kelly is surely going to be an improvement for himself. Right on the line, the judges want to see him. He transitions back into zone 6, bit shallow on the entry to it, but filling it and early dropping a tyre crossing the line.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an improvement. Maybe hung on to his transition a little bit late there after 5 coming into 6. Could have just got the car rotated a little bit earlier on the right hand side, but I think overall we're going to see a bit of an improvement for sure as the score drops in, and it is a good improvement. It's an 86.3 for Adam Kelly from Waterford, putting him way up the order compared to where he was sitting, and that is 12th position. He'd be delighted with that improvement. And now it is Leon Lynch on the line, the ominous man. Look at that, looking very menacing altogether on his live stream picture there.
He sure is. 666 horsepower apparently in this car is what he's told us. I'm not too sure if that's true, but 11-0 is written on the side of a very stylish livery as part of the Lemon Style Drift team. A lot of style in his driving as well, as we can see that rear bumper flapping in the wind as he puts that car on angle and foot to the floor through zone 3 here. Lots of pace coming through zone 4, picking up all the points, but a bit of a stumble here now on zone 5, very shallow and only missing the entire zone. And same through 6, unfortunately, getting in before he crosses the line.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be an improvement. His score 54.7, a big disappointment for a driver of the talent of Leon in the first run. but you know, not a perfect one there, leaving 5 way too early, and maybe not collecting all of 6. The judges deducting significantly for that one. If you completely miss a zone, it's an automatic deduction of 20 points actually, but he did get into them slightly, so it's an 80.3, guys, for Leon Lynch. 80.3 for the Cavan man, putting him kind of midfield as we move it along to Matt Darren. 71.3 for the Polish national in the man from Matt's Garage Port.
Coming up from the Pro 2 Championship last year, Matt Darren looking very strong on these semi-slicks. He puts his E36 right out to the edge of the track. A great team behind him, a great family behind him, with his partner drifting and his family all around him as he's out for every single round we have of the IDS, putting it to the max as much as he can while having the crack, and puts it across the line now. Matt Darren, 71.3 on his first run. I think it's going to be a bit of improvement. Few mistakes throughout his second qualifying run, but more consistent on the line.
Yeah, big old V8 under the bonnet there and a big old blower on it as well. So she's got all the torques there and all the horsepowers. And it's a big improvement from Matt Darren, guys. 88.3 for the Polish man, putting him into 10th position. So top 10 currently for Matt Darren. And if you are in the Laois area, give Matt's Garage Port a shout. He is a top mechanic and a top guy.
He sure is, Mikey. Great character outside the car. As we go back to the line now with our next driver, getting ready to leave. It's one of 2 Garvey brothers. It is no other but David Garvey in his stunning PS13 800 brake horsepower. This car is top spec stuff. The man from Kilkenny has put his time and effort into that car. Kenny put time and effort into putting on a great run. Already 70 on the board for himself. Not the strongest score that we've seen today, but looking very strong through zones 1 and 2. That car looking very stylish now as he comes in 3. Too fast into the tyre wall for David Garvey. Unfortunately, finishing out that run on a 0 now for himself.
Yeah, it looks like his back left is pointing in the right direction, though. Hopefully he has avoided suspension damage. We were speaking yesterday of the squishiness rating, Adam. We got very scientific with the tyres there. We said that the walls in FD had a squishiness rating of 0, and you know, if you're looking at spongy tyre walls there, the sponge that they have, that's a squishiness rating of 100 by us. And the tractor tyres, we were saying, were about 40.
Yeah, they're quite hard to be fair, but they do move. They do move. They're
it's
not
very scientific.
Yeah, exactly. The squishiness level is like something you could be studying in Harvard or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. There's whole doctorates on it, exactly. But
Masters in squishiness.
Ben Rogers is on the line. He'd be hoping to put in a non-squishy lap here and improve on his 90.3. The Derryman, one of the stars of round 1, was so good in Mondello Park, and a very, very stylish and aggressive driver. Maybe not having, you know, the perfect second round so far, or the perfect championship so far, because he's down kind of just outside the top 10 in the championship. But, you know, I think he has it in him to have a big, at least one big finish in the year. You know, he does tend to get very, very good rounds under his belt. So let's see what he can do.
He sure does. He has the ability to really top qualifying here if he was able to do so, if that car is working on his team today. For him, 90.3 on the board already, looking very strong with that score. Quite common to this track as well from being up this direction. The man from County Derry, only 21 years of age, in the Pro Championship now as well. 700 brake horsepower. This car is top spec and well capable of putting a good score down.
Yeah, so just making sure that all is good with the track as we confirm exactly what's happening here.
That's for sure, Mike, as well. To anyone that may be near the direction here of Downpatrick for Bishopscourt, make sure to get down here. There's loads of activities going on. Everything from tractor racing to drifting, of course. Merch stalls, there's a car show being hosted by Port Car Scene up on our right, as well as loads of diffing. Lads doing rings.
Diffing is right, yes. So as I bring up the Pro Championship here, and just to see exactly where Jack is, he's hanging around the top 10 pretty much there, or bin, sorry. He's actually in 17th, sorry, so he's way back compared to his ability level, so he'll be looking to have a good round 3 here. And once again, guys, we have a 6-round championship this year in IDS, but it is the top 5 rounds which are being counted for the drivers, so they are allowed to drop around if they can't make it or if they have, you know, bad results. It does open up the chance to still have a very strong championship finish if you are consistent.
That's for sure. A man that can be consistent is Ben Rogers right now, leaving the line, 90.3 on the board for himself already. Can he improve on that as he puts the rear end of that car right on our edge of track, painting tyre marks on that white line, coming up here now into zone 3, a bit sketchy on it through, nearly dropping a tyre halfway through, but making it work for himself. now all the way out for zone 4. Looking very strong here from the County Dairyman. I think it might just be a little bit of an improvement for himself. Definitely going to be in the 90s again if he does continue to do so through zone 6, and he does, crossing the line.
Yeah, great run there from Bin, just showing exactly why he can be one of the top competitors in Ireland at the moment. The car set up quite soft on the rear. You saw it almost wheeling there through one. Looks like he's on maybe 4 kg rear springs on the Sylvia. Really, really great lap there. The car looks fast as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in battle action later on. And let's see what score drops in for Ben Rogers, as the judges tot it up and divided by 3. So 3 judges in residence once again here, guys. Tom Murphy, Tomas Falvey, dad of Conor Falvey, who we saw taking a podium last weekend in Riga. And Kieran Hines, the godfather of Irish drifting, a man who has been here since the start.
That's for sure, Mike. Before we get the score of Ben Rogers there, just to mention, our next 2 drivers that should be out should be Dean Byrne and Jack Cadwell, but unfortunately they're not going to be coming out after some issues with the car, not being able to sort the power steering, and after that crash for Jack, things not working out for himself. But the score has dropped in for Ben Rogers, very consistent. It's a 90 on the board for himself on the second qualifying run. No improvement, but very, very consistent with 90.3 from his first.
Yeah, so real consistency there. That's generally what we actually see from Ben Rogers. Now, Jack Caldwell is not going to be back out, unfortunately. They won't get that fixed. Davin Lee, he's on the line on a 76.3. The young man just about in County Waterford, almost made it into Cork, but not quite, unfortunately for him. We can't all be from Cork. And it's 76.3 in the GT86 V8 powered LS, modern LS as well in this, so lots of torque, lots of horsepower, but the mechanicals of this car do fight the Lee. He's quite a lot. Let's see if... Oh, look at this of Davin Lee. What an entry into outer zone 3. Full Japanese backward entry style. Exactly what we want to see. He made it work at him. He got on the outside line and kept it there.
He sure did. Lots of style in this run now from Davin Lee. 76.3 is not a score we're used to seeing by him. We're used to seeing bigger scores, and I think he might put down a huge score for himself here now. Did you see that entry into zone 3? Nearly backwards, but is the judges going to deem that chaseable as well?
I want to... Yeah, well, that's not how we judge it here. I think it is chaseable. I mean, we saw Jack Shanahan get penalised in Finland for a backwards entry across the clipping zone. David Callis there penalising him, but in Ireland we are not going to penalise that because he didn't have an adjustment, and Davin Lee, he scores with a backwards entry into 3 and 93 guys, putting him way up the order into 5th position, so the Waterford men will be delighted with that. Just 17 years of age as we go back to the line, and it is Jack Mahoney under the Red Bull ring leaving the line. 87.9 on the first one for Jack. Can he improve here, Adam?
He may possibly do that. Jack Mumini, a very strong score in his first run. Can he do the same here now again and top that with a huge angle as well? Drivers are getting very confident in the zone 3. They're nearly sending it backwards as he fills all of zone 3. Into 4 now as he hits that car off limiter, bringing it back down, controlling it, feathering the trawl through 5 and transitioning now into zone 6. 600 brake horsepower, dropping tyres there at the end of zone 6 but getting across the line. Yeah,
I think it was a really, really big score there for Jack until the wheel dropped, but the judges will deduct him about 5 points for dropping the wheel like that on the outside of 4. So it's an 88.7 for the Dairyman, which is super consistency. He does improve slightly, and it puts him actually level with Max Bagugis there on an 88.7. And of course, in the event of tight scores, we do go to the driver's second score in order to create the tiebreaker. Now we go back to the line to Dean Davey. Remember, we had Jake Davey next on a 0, so let's see what happens on the next one. But Dean Davey currently is on an 84. Not a huge score here, unfortunately, for the Sligo man. Of course, the 3 Davies opting to compete in the pro class. Nicky Davey not in attendance with the last couple of rounds, though. Probably the best thing, because leave the two kids at it.
Yeah, he's putting all attention to his 2 young sons, 2 young guns. The elder of the 2 brothers now as well, Dean Davey, out on track, looking flawless through zones 1 and 2, and huge angle, nearly 90 degrees again, up on the wall for zone 3, looking very strong here now, Dean Davey. Consistency is huge here as he just dabs the handbrake on zone 5. Lots of angle, putting that car where it needs to be. He paid attention, asking questions in briefing.
Did he cross the line over 90 degrees?
I don't know. I stopped what I was saying there because I think he nearly did too.
The judges don't look too phased by it, so I think they're going to give him a score. They are going to give him a score, guys, and it's quite the score. 93.3 for Dean Davey. A great score there for the Sligo men. The self-sponsored Carrick karting car here, and we go to the line. It is his brother on the line. It is Jake Davey, last year's Pro 2 champion, and what a championship that was. He took it in style in Watergrass Hill, but he didn't have a stylish initiation on the first one here. All the pressure in the world is on him right now, Adam, and look at that. He's gone for a very tentative entry as a result.
He sure did. He doesn't want to make the same mistake. We're used to seeing Jake Davey with lots of style and lots of confidence, but it doesn't look like he's too confident in that car today with the twinning livery of his older brother Dean. But out there now, he wants to put a score on the board. He wants to get into battle action. He's playing it safe. He knows he doesn't have to put a massive score, but he might just do so as he's filling all the zones. Very safe and tentative run, but very good run at that from Jake Davey.
Well, the judges are going to penalise him for the entry. They want full throttle. They want full commitment into entry. They will definitely mark him down quite a lot for that. And it's an 83 for Jake Davey. I think he did the intelligent thing. That car mightn't be 100%. He got a score on the board. It's a respectable score. It's kind of midfield. It puts him into 17th position. So he'll be battling somebody maybe 13th, 14th by the end of qualifying.
That's for sure. And a man now here that's definitely going to improve in this one is End Lines. I say this could be his year. Looking very strong, very comfortable in his car as he puts it right out to the edge of the track and transitioning here up against the wall for zone 3. Bit shallow on the line, but trying to push it back out there on the edge of it for the second half of that zone and through zone 4 as that car hits off the limiter, passing us here in the judging tower. Lovely line, lots of angle in the transition before zone 6 and crosses the line and lines.
Yeah, in the lines, staying in the lines and not going outside the lines there, which is the idea here at IDS. So the Galway men there with an 86.3, big improvement, improves by 14 points there. So 86.3 drops in the lines into level with Adam Kelly, actually in joint 15th position, but just he will be ahead of Adam Kelly because he has the better second score. So 15th for in the line, 16th for Adam Kelly as we go back to the line, and it is another man on a zero with all the experience in the world, relatively local as well, the Armagh man Daryl Barnett with I will say 15, 16 odd years of drift experience under his belt, if not a bit more.
That's for sure. The age of some of the drivers that we actually have on the grid here. Look at this, Darrell Barnett out for the second qualifying one, sitting on zero. He knows he just has to put a score on the board that is strong enough to get him in to the top 32. Pushing it out to the edge now again for zone 4 and back for 5. Darrell Barnett, bit of hassle on his first run, a spin or a crash, but missing all of zone 6 here as well. Not exactly the best run we want to see or the ideal line from Darrell Barnett, but he'll definitely get a score for it.
Yeah, I think he was just playing it safe, didn't want to drop a couple of wheels off. Of course, guys, we have a big deduction for 3 wheels off here in IDS, and it's a 0 for 4 wheels off. So Darrell Barnett playing it safe there with a 78, dropping him into 21st position, not where he wants to be. He will have somebody, you know, hovering around the top kind of 13, 14 there to battle later on. So that'll be, you know, that'll be a tough one for him. But let's see. We move it back to Declan Byrne, the Style King.
We sure do. The Style King is exactly a great way to describe this man. Suffering with some car issues, throttle body sticking on him just a bit, so he's not feeling too confident on how he can flick that car in, but it doesn't look like that, as we can see in his driving style here. Right in front of us, Declan Byrne putting it right out to the edge of every zone he's conquered so far. Transitioning now for zone 6. Lots of limiter by Declan Byrne. 85 on the board for himself already. Will it be an improvement?
Yeah, I'm not usually a fan of silver cars in general, but I love that Zinky S14. It just looks so good out there.
It sure does, and what else looks good is his scores. It's an improvement of over 4 points. Is 89.3 for Declan Byrne on his second qualifying run.
Yeah, 11th position for the Carlow man. He'll be relatively happy with that, and that'll see him battling, you know, the likes of maybe roughly Darrell Barnett, who might have struggled a little bit in qualifying, so he's bought himself maybe theoretical, slightly easier battle bracket, but we're moving to the real thick end of the championship now. The Derry man, Stephen Halferty, with all the experience in the world. He's got definitely more than 320 horsepower as well, guys. That's a 2J under the bonnet. I think it's more like 550, 600 under the bonnet here of the E36 wagon, and he's looking good at him.
Looking very good, and a very good score, sitting third position on qualifying at the moment with 94. Can he improve on that? Stephen Halferty looking very strong in his E36 wagon. 2JZ roaring here, very shallow though on the transition for zone 6, but getting across the line, hitting every zone where he needs to be.
He is, and doing a really good job of it. You know, Stephen Halferty, we always tip him to have a big championship finish because he's so consistent, and it's a 90.7 for Halferty. Doesn't improve, but a good kind of a consistent double 90 score, always a good sign. Now, guys, watch this. It's Jason McInerney. We don't have Owen Magner. Engine expired last round. He's taking the year out. Jason McInerney is the next driver on the line. He's third in the championship. He's currently on a 0. If he gets double zeros, regardless of the amount of cars through, he is not qualifying here, guys. He has to get a score on the board, and he has to get a big one at him because you want to get that good draw for the top 32.
That's for sure. There's points for qualifying as well for all our drivers. So every single moment out on track matters for them when it comes to the championship standings. And this man sitting in third position on the championship at the present moment. Could he be overtaken by Stephen Halferty if it's a double zero? Hopefully not. Jason McInerney leaves the line now in his BMW E36, flicks it in for initiation and putting it right out to the edge, pushing that car to its limits now, all the way up for zone 3. Playing it safe here about, I'd say, Jason McInerney. We're not used to seeing this from him. It's more aggression we're used to seeing, but he's definitely going to get a score on the board. He finished out the run the way he's doing this. Lovely through zone 5 here now, and on the ideal line between 5 and 6, getting out 6 and finishing the run. It's going to be a score for him.
Yeah, it's going to be a good score as well. Notice that wheeling there, literally cocking the front left wheel on the way in. He's running quite a hard spring rate of BC Racing coilovers on the front of this. I won't give away his trade secrets, but you know, it's working for him because it's an 88.7 for the Clareman, dropping him kind of into that midfield area there with Declan Byrne and Jack Mawini, Jason McInerney and Matt Darren all hanging around together there. Now we go, watch this, guys, we go to the line. It is Dylan Garvey, the man looking to take this championship in 2026, former Drift Masters European championship driver. Can't get my words out with excitement. We're back in Japan, Adam.
We sure are. Look at this. He drags on the handbrake to get right up in there for zone 3. Dylan Garvey topping qualifying at the present moment with 96.7. Is he going to improve on that, or is he out here using this as practice? That car is looking dialed in for today, Mike. Loads of angle through every single zone and speed, fulfilling everything the way it should be done. Dylan Garvey, textbook stuff from the Kilkenny man.
Yeah, so big shout out as well to Derek Madison and the guys there from Fuel Lab from the States. Had a tough Formula Drift event by the looks of it last night, but they're big sponsors and supporters of Dylan Garvey, and Strong Wheels as well, BC Racing coilovers sponsoring that. And Dylan Garvey scoring, guys, very consistently, a 94.7 on the second run for the Kilkenny man, putting him in the double mid-90s there. Great scoring. Doesn't improve, but a 96.7 is difficult to improve on. So a great score there, but it is the last run of qualifying here, guys. It is the man who also wants to take the championship all the way over from Poland, making his life in Ireland, building a life here, building a company, building a business, building a drift team. It is Jakub Krzyszak on the line, and he has a 93.7 from the first run. He really has to improve to try to take down Dylan Garvey here, get those championship points, because I can tell you right now, guys, this one is coming down to the wire in 2026 between these two drivers.
That's for sure, Mike. I can see it going all the way to the final. We've seen Jakub Krzyszak in that exact position when he was in the Pro 2 Championship. Can he do the same when he's in the Pro 1 and take it home for himself? 93.7 on the board. He knows he has to beat Dylan Garvey here for the bragging rights and for the championship points, as we can hear that engine roar. 850 brake horsepower. Not the ideal line here now from Jakub Krzyszak through 3, but getting back out to the edge of it for the second half as he puts foot to the floor past the tower here. Lots of angle there now through zone 5, lots of pace. This car is really gripped up and looking very well in the new livery for 2026. Across the line, finishing out his second qualifying run, finishing out qualifying for us here at round 3.
Yeah, great 360 as well. All the entertainment value here, guys, at IDS qualifying. I know from being in briefing yesterday morning there will be a couple of deductions for not fully filling the zones, but great consistency from Jakub Krzyszak. It is 93.3 from the Polish man residing in Wexford, and that is not an improvement, but it is great consistency. And that concludes us, guys, for IDS Pro round 3 qualifying here in Bishopscourt. We ran through it really quickly as we said we would, and yeah, a top qualifying session there, showcasing the great depth of talent that we have here in Irish drifting. So we have a couple of buy runs by the looks of it, a couple of zeros on the board there, and we can go up to our qualifying order, which I believe has the tight score sorted out. So I'm just going to look at Jason McInerney and Max there, and Jack Mawini in 13th. So Jason McInerney, yeah, all the scores are in order by the looks of things. Yeah, so we can announce, guys, the qualifying scores, and we'll have a couple of bye runs because we did have a couple of non-qualifiers on a 0, as you can see down at the bottom of the screen. But qualifying in 26th position, it's Dave Garvey with a 70. Also on a 70 is Sean Watt in 25th. Then it's Mark McKevitt on a 72. Ryan Martin back in competition is in 23rd. Darryl Barnett is getting it done in one run. In 22nd, Adrian Wheatley with a 79.3 drops into 21st. Leon Lynch is 20th with an 80.3. Then it's Jake Davey, Adam Kelly in the Lions, Luke Talley and Matt Darren are your 15th to 20th. Then it's Jason McInerney in 14th, getting it done in one run also. Max Bagauges is on an 88.7 also, and also on an 88.7 is Jack Mawhinney. And then Declan Byrne is in 11th, and your top 10 qualifiers at IDS round 3 Bishopscourt 2026 are Jonathan Flynn in 10th on a 90.3. Also on a 90.3 is Ben Rogers in 9th, getting the better second score there. Matt Smith over from the UK is on a 90.7. Great run from him. The first one, Jake McElveen, is on a 91.3. Davin Leahy getting it done backwards into zone 3 there with a 93. Dean Davey drops into the top 5 at the second run with a 93.3. Then it is championship leader Jakob Shishak on a 93.7. Stephen Halferty, the Northern Irishman, dropping into third with a 94. Alex Butler, 15 years of age, guys, with a 94.7 and winning qualifying, taking home the championship points, buying himself a bye run in the top 32. It is the Wexford man, Dylan Garvey, with the Japanese style backwards entries with a 96.7. What a run from him. He's looking to take the championship, and you know what? Who's going to bet against him? Well, Jakob Shishak might bet against him, Adam. I don't know who's going to take it between these two guys, but it's going to be a titanic battle, and we have, of course, plenty guys in the mix there like Halferty, Butler, Davey, Leahy, who could throw up a bit of a surprise in the battles. They're all hard battlers. So, guys, that is us concluded for qualifying there, Adam, and I believe you have the schedule.
We sure do, Mike. We should be back very shortly at the exact time of just confirming.
It's not that shortly, but it is at 2 o'clock, I believe, Irish time. So
sure is, we absolutely flew through that, didn't we?
We did indeed. So we are scheduled to be finished qualifying at 1 o'clock, guys, but we are finished 30 minutes early, so we're sticking to the schedule. We are back here at IDS Round 3 2026 for top 32 pro battle action here at 2 p.m. Be sure to join us then, guys, from Adam and myself for pro qualifying at Round 3. Thank you very much. See you in an hour and a half. Over and out.
That's for sure, Mike. Before we go as well, just to announce to everyone that we will have some passenger spins and merchandise that we'll be giving away just after the break as well. So make sure you are trackside to have an opportunity to win one of them, as well as I want to give a huge shout out to all the sponsors that are making this very possible for us here in the Irish Drift Series, especially our two title sponsors, Lucky Day Competitions and Red Bull Energy, as well as all our other sponsors, Kenda Tires, Drift Mafia, Strom Wheels, GMD Tire and Service Centre, Eugen Factory, who actually have handmade the trophies that our drivers on the podium this weekend are receiving. Very stylish, and you'll see them on our social media very soon. Group D, Turn Tire Distribution, Max Flow, Exemplar, Airport Concierge, I pronounced that word completely wrong, Exact Signs and Lexi Brake. All these Irish brands making it possible for the Irish Drift Series to put on events such as this and give these drivers opportunity to showcase their talent. So once again, thank you very much to every single person here in attendance. We'll be back with more track action at 2 p.m. Until then, from myself and Mike, over and out.
aller viktigste med drifting, det er dekka. Det er eneste vi har som binder bilen til asfalten. Og akkurat som i all annen racing, så er dekka det som avgjør en seier eller en fiasko. Så da vi gikk til Kenda i år, så var det etter flere år med undersøkelser, med tester, med en vurdering av ikke bare hvor Kenda var da, men hvor de er på vei. Det har spilt seg ut ganske bra, kan du si, hittil i sesongen.
Check this out.
Okay.
I look good.
Okay. On the street and I got my swag on. Okay. Get the money, gotta get my bag on. Okay. Triple back.
King of legacy, too ruthless to transcend.
Diving to me is like a sense of freedom. Nobody forces me, nobody pushing me. I choose to do it.
My grandfather would refer to it as like the last place that God made, as far west as you can go in the country. The last sunset in Europe in the millennium was over Jersey Island, you know. What better view can you ask for?